Okay, so now you guys can hear me audio wise, right?
Yeah, but I would have to go through and promote every single person to do that. So I don't know what happens. Like I'm not
Okay,
seeing
so
my video
now you guys
anymore.
can hear me audio wise, right?
Yeah, but I would have to go through and promote every single person to do that. So I don't know what happens. Like I'm not
Okay,
seeing
so
my video
now you guys
anymore.
can hear me audio wise, right?
But I would have to go through and promote every single person to do that. But it's just
Okay, so
looping.
now
What happens? Like I'm not seeing my video
you guys
anymore.
can hear me audio wise, right?
I would have to go through and promote every single person to do that. But it's just looping. What happens? Like I'm not seeing my video anymore.
Okay, so obviously, is that the only way? You have to make everyone a panelist for them to turn their webcam on.
Why would you want to make anyone a panelist?
Well, you have to make everyone a panelist.
Please, can you guys mute the streams, please? Mute your streams from the Rido page. Why would you want to make anyone a panelist? Can you guys mute the streams, please?
How do you mute the stream?
Just click on the sound icon on the YouTube frame. Go to Rido page where you have it open and click on the. Just click on the sound icon on the YouTube frame. Go to Rido page where you have it open and click on the.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh no, I think I just closed the. Shit, I just closed the Zoom.
We can see you still.
Okay, sorry, good. I thought I closed the. I thought I closed the whole thing. Because what I wanted to do, Eugen, is the.
But you're the only one we can see, Jen.
Okay, because I can see you guys. Because what I wanted to do, Eugen, is the.
One second, please. 1 second. Charles, can you mute the stream as well, please?
I did.
Then who has background noise then? Mute it on YouTube or close the YouTube page as well, please. So you have my webinar YouTube, the YouTube page. The YouTube tab on top. Okay.
Yeah, did I close it now? And I'm like worried, did you guys lose me?
We can hear you now.
Yeah, I think we're all set now.
We're good, right? No,
Yeah.
I don't want to leave the meeting. And now did I close I didn't close the meeting, did I?
Don't think so. No. We can see your webcam, so you are in the meeting basically.
Meeting, right? Okay, perfect. Okay, I got it there. Okay, so here's what I want to do, Eugen. So you tell me if we have the right package. Is basically the reason why I would want to switch to Zoom versus DAcast that we're currently using. There's only two reasons why I would want to switch to Zoom. The best example would be is on the last two webinars that we've had, we've only had, let's say, 5 people register in advance for the webinar. Like the best example was, I think it was the webinar that we had either on May 4th or May 7th. I can't remember which one. I'd have to pull the report that Christy set up for us. But we had 5 people register, but 25 people attended live. But of course, because of the IP address matching, we don't know who those 25 people are. So it's not, from a sales follow-up perspective, it's not super useful for us because we only have the names of 5 people, but we know that 25 people attended. And of course, from our database of 1,200, it's impossible then to go follow up to know which of the 1,200, the 20 people that we have. We only have names of the 2 people. So I either have you guys program in a feature that we talked about earlier, where I force people to enter in their email address when they when they come in to the webinar on the day of the webinar, or we switch to Zoom where they have to enter in their email address. That's one reason to switch to Zoom. The other big motivation to switch to Zoom is from other people that are using Zoom for a webinar is this whole webcam functionality, where similar to like I have right now, you don't have your webcam on, Eugene, but with Charles, to be able to make it when Charles is presenting, at certain sections, and I wouldn't want to do it throughout the whole webinar, but right now, during certain times in the presentation, Charles will pause and say, I'd like to open it up to see if there's any questions. And then he waits to see if, people text in questions through the question feature that you guys have programmed in. What would be neat is, because we're averaging about 20 to 25 participants on average, on about the 8 webinars we've done. What would be cool is if, during the, if we invite everyone to turn on their webcam and we make it more of like a virtual conference, it makes it feel like people are more in the room. And so that, Charles has an opportunity and the other participants have an opportunity to kind of look into each other's eyes and feel like they're actually in the room with people. So it makes it feel like it's more conversational. So then people can actually talk.
I understood. But for that, those people will require to install the Zoom application. So this feature with the webcam, you only have it when you attend the meeting through the Zoom application, not through the stream. Mm-hmm. The stream is a passive, just a watching feature. You cannot interact with it. But as we are now joined on a Zoom meeting. That's different thing. And this Zoom meeting is streamed on Rideau site. So if you want to interact with the other participants, you will need to invite them, like Charles did with this link, to invite them on your meeting. You can send them from Zoom emails, reminders, whatever you like, but they will have to either use the Zoom web application or the Zoom desktop application.
Okay.
So they will have to join the Zoom software basically to attend to the meeting.
And there's no way to embed that Zoom meeting within the Rideau web environment?
No. The only thing that Zoom can do is to stream on YouTube. They don't have even a custom stream, so to speak. They only stream on YouTube or Facebook. So from that, from YouTube, you take the window frame and you put it on your site. So there's no way that Zoom can let you, I don't know, set up a custom stream and meeting environment.
Okay.
I don't know how to.
I understand.
So it's simple. I mean, I understand your point of view, and I think it makes much more sense to invite people to a webinar instead of relying on their word that they will attend the streaming. I mean, from my point of view, it's better to send them a request to join the webinar when it's live, because it doesn't matter if they join or not. I mean, it doesn't affect your webinar. It's just like us today. We could have joined or we could have not joined. But the only thing they'll need to do is to click on that link and join on the Zoom web functionality. I mean, they will have to insert their address and name, their email address and name. That's all, like you did today, like everyone did today, basically. If they are willing to do that, Zoom it's a good option.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they will participate in this frame you are looking at right now. I mean, you have the window and the cameras and.
What do you think, Charles?
I mean, there's a trade-off in what you want. I mean, I think if we want to have people to have the capacity, I mean, the problem with the interactivity is that we'd have to change what we're doing. So I'm wondering if we use that as like if we're going to do something once a month, like what Chester and Adrian are doing, that we can mix it up to make it more of a conversation and a discussion as opposed to a show. Because if people start interacting with us, there's no way we can get through this webinar in 30 minutes without me really cutting out.
I agree. And, so I'm almost like,
But I do like the Zoom to capture, if we're having a problem capturing contacts and participation. I mean, Zoom works fine. It doesn't have to be through the Redo website,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and the thing is, we record this, Jen, so we can put these up on the Redo website. So if you want something that's more passive that somebody can stumble upon, we can easily post these up there.
So I'm thinking plan A and plan B. I do really like the Zoom from an interactive perspective, but I'm almost thinking we keep that as like a tool, when we have, sort of a user group forum. And then Eugene and George, Eugene, how difficult, again, I revisit back to, I know that we pro'd and conned it. I just think I want you guys to program adding into the DAcast the functionality that they have to enter in their email address on the day of the webinar, so that we're absolutely, we capture their email address when they arrive on the day of the webcast.
You will have to check with Christy about this.
How is he doing? How's Christy feeling?
I don't know. George knows more than I do.
Okay. George isn't on here, right? Is he there?
You must invite him as well too, if you like. You must make him a presenter or something. I don't know how George managed to do it.
Yeah, he's not on as a participant.
Okay.
He's not. Okay, I'll text him.
Hey, and Jen, I had a hard stop at 10:30, so I'm running late for a meeting. So I'm just gonna put this on mute and I'll let it go so the two of you can continue.
Okay.
And
well,
then,
go ahead and go ahead.
Okay,
Eugen. So what? That's what I'm thinking, Eugen. I think I really like the Zoom and I like the functionality, but I don't want to lose everything that we built on the Redo.com, because it's working really, really well. You know what I mean? The reporting's working really well. It's working really well. The ask a question, we're getting good attendees. The only thing, like I said, that we're missing is like I said, we're getting a lot of people that are not registering in advance and that are just showing up the day of. And because, of course, like the IP, we're just getting their IP address, but we don't know who they are. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to send an email to you guys and say, how do we program in so that they have to enter in their email address so that we capture it, so that we know who they are the day of, so we put that in. And then I think as a nicer to have would be to explore, I know that DAcast, I think we looked at it, right? It didn't have the functionality to have any webcam functionality, right? Didn't we look at that?
For the guests?
Yeah.
No. It's just a streaming. It just outputs the video. It doesn't take any input.
It doesn't take any input, eh? And then I guess, the only other thing I would say is like, because the Zoom I think is a great functionality, but there's no sense like looking at another functionality to do like a passive streaming into the Redo.com functionality, because from a passive streaming functionality, what we've got is really answering the need. From an interactive functionality, I agree. The Zoom has it, but we might as well just use that as like a webinar functionality that we do outside of Redo.com, but they load it on as as functionality outside of the Redo.com. I love the functionality that inside of Redo.com that posts the when the webinar is finished, that they can navigate to other parts of the site. You know what I mean? And then visit the other elements. So I'm going to email you guys about adding in that email check-in functionality to the webinar. And then the other thing is, again, not as urgent, because the ask a question functionality, we've got that, is, again, as a lower level priority is, we can see about, even though we don't have the webcam functionality, is then we keep exploring, how do we maybe look at some more robust chat plug-in functionalities, to make it a little bit more robust.
Yeah.
That was the issue. Is like I didn't want to make it so that it could basically be like everybody a free for all, with the chat. I wanted the administrator to have a little bit more control of, what was published in terms of the feature functionality, and we were just rushed because we were trying to publish it live sooner. But now that we have an interim solution with the ask a question functionality now, maybe now that we have that in place, we can take a little bit more time and see what other chat functionality that we can put in place to make it a little bit more collaborative. Even though we don't have the webcam functionality, I mean, that's fine. That's like the Cadillac. But maybe we can make the look for a chat plugin that's maybe a little bit more, that can make it a little bit more collaborative.
Yeah, we can look into that. Regarding the email and name address to identify people.
Yeah.
I was thinking that we can resort to a system like we do not let people see the page until they enter their name and email.
That's what I'm thinking, exactly.
But if that guy chooses to, I don't know, throw their random name and I don't know, a random email address, he can type in there anything. I mean,
yeah, that's fine. I mean, if they do that, they do
that. Still, there is no way to check.
No, I agree. If they do that, they do that. And that's fine. We're not going to be like the CIA. You know what I mean? That's fine. You know what I mean? If they put in a random email address, they put in a random email address. At least it's just something that's a little bit more, I mean, because if they do that, I mean, they obviously don't want to be contacted. I mean, the whole purpose of the capturing the names is because they're interested in receiving more information. So if someone's going to put in a phony email address, it's because they obviously are not interested in receiving more information about the solution. And so, I'm not going to stalk them to get more information.
Yeah, makes sense.
Which is fine by me. You know what I mean? It's okay. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's all right. The reality is I have a feeling that, we're doing all of this outreach to get people to come. And then some people they may not be taking the time to register ahead of time, but then, I received the email. And so, I'm clicking on the link to come, but because we have no way of, we're not prompting them to enter their information, they're just watching the information, but then there's no outreach to get that information. So if they're keen, they'll enter their correct information, and then we at least have some sort of recourse to follow up with them after. So again, like I said, it's just like today, you know what I mean? We'll put in their, my email address, and it's just one extra way to hopefully get a chance to get their information. And oh, there's George. He can hear us, but he's just not participating. Oh, good. I'm glad he can hear us. We'll just have a chance to get their information. No, we don't hear you, George, because for some reason, I don't know, I can't make him a one attendee.
Oh, he's attendee. Wait a second. Let me see if I can.
Can you make him a panelist?
Trying. George Moore, no. I don't know how this works. So we have participants. I think only Charles, because he's the administrator. He's the.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, he's the host basically. Only he can invite him.
Invite? How can I invite? No, I like this. Invite people to join. Participants. There I see him. Stop video.
Yeah. No. Only Charles. Only the host can decide who.
Oh, that's a bummer. Sorry, George. We're trying to make you a panelist, but it seems like and Charles had to leave for another meeting. That's why. Otherwise, we would for sure make you a panelist. Anyways, George, I'm going to Skype with you later. I'm very eager to hear how Christy is doing. I hope he's feeling much better and feeling okay. But we'll circle back and see how he's doing on that end. And then, but anyways, yes. So I think the game plan is like, I want to stay with the DA cast because from my webinar, I think it's meeting 95% of our needs. that we've got now. And from an immediate need, like I said, the only thing that it's missing is, like I said, just not capturing the email addresses, because it seems like a lot of people are just showing up last minute. And because of the IP matching, we're just not capturing that. So I just want to add in that layer of asking for their email addresses when they show up for the webinar. So if we can program that in. And then again, it's not like necessarily super urgent, but I want us to explore when we have time, when we can fit it into our schedule, some additional, chat plugins that can maybe, add that extra layer of collaboration. So I know that we're not going to get the whole, robustness of the webcam that Zoom has, but, so that we can maybe add in that collaboration feature that I'm looking for, so that, again, if we're looking at getting 20 to 25 people on, that Charles, you guys know what I'm looking for, Eugen. I want to be able to control so that, we have what I said before, that the, whoever's running the webinar can say, I want to be able to control that, I can either say that the people chatting can only either chat with only the administrator, or I can open up and say, yes, they can chat with each other if I decide they can chat with each other, or they can only chat with me. You know what I mean? I decide as the administrator if I want to turn it on and turn it off. So I need to have that flexibility with the chat functionality to be able to do that.
Yep, I understand.
Yeah. I'm reading you, George, here, what you wrote here. By the way, the recorded version should be available only if the user and email is provided. Absolutely. That's a good point, for sure. We have that. Put that in. I agree, George, for sure. The recorded version, make that functionality. And I don't think the Zoom, I think we're going to use that, the Zoom functionality. I just think that I don't think there's any point in using the Zoom stream functionality, because it doesn't add any value. The value of using the Zoom is to be able to use this collaborative functionality and to be able to turn the webcam on and make it conversational. And for me, if we were going to do that, that'd be great. But it would be great, like, to do it. If you said, Jen, yes, we could do it within the Redo environment, you know what I mean, within the Redo website, then I would say, okay, great. We'd kill two birds with one stone and replace everything. But since that's not an option, then what I'm going to say is, let's keep the Zoom, but we'll keep it on the side, and we'll see, we'll keep that for when we have an opportunity. Because I agree with Charles, there's no way, if we're going to turn this into like everyone turning on their webcam, that we'll likely do this in a half-hour format. It's probably going to be more of like an hour, hour format, which, you really need to have time to do that. And it's going to be a much more engaged audience than what we're trying to do right now in these half-hour timeframes. We do, for sure. We do want to target people from Europe, for sure, George. And actually, like, what we're going to do is, right now we have a conference coming up, because keep in mind, the new European law for data protection is active May 25th. What does that mean? Does that mean I can't ask for their email address? Is that what it means, George? I'm not allowed asking for their email address? Okay, send me more details on that. I mean, they're not our first target market, but yes, Europe is like a low-level market for us. North America is obviously our first target market, but we do have obviously global clients, and Europe is there. So if there is some things that we have to consider, let me know. Let me know if there's things that we have to consider. Okay, so you have to let me know if there's some things that we have to align there. Obviously, we have to make sure that we're being conscientious of that. I don't want to be like, Mark Zuckerberg in front of Congress, and I have to be conscious of that. So, okay, long story short, first priority is, let's just see if we can, in line with the laws, add the name and email addresses for the webinars. We're going to stick with the DAcast. We'll put the Zoom to the side for now until I can think of something. And then Eugene, of course, we have like probably 6,000 other things, that are probably, we have other projects, but in the time when we have time, let's explore what other chat plugins that we could look in that could maybe bolster up the chat functionality.
Sure.
Okie dokie.
Yep.
And then George, yes, let's definitely chat offline. I want to get an update on Christy. Obviously, my first priority is that he's feeling good and that he's okay. Obviously, we're worried about him. keep me posted on that. All right, guys. Thanks for this.
Thank you, Jennifer.
All right, always happy to talk to you guys live.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, George. Sorry we couldn't promote you.